Wondering how to fall completely in love with the people and things that surround you at home? I've spent the last 15 years studying how and where families thrive and what relational and house characteristics ignite us with that homey feeling. On this podcast, we uncover how our brains process the people we live with and the houses we live in so we can confidently create our homes to be wonder-filled connection magnets. Ready to give up the decision fatigue, comparison hives, overwhelm ulcers, and confusion chaos? You are in the right place. I'm your host, Carly Thornock. Welcome to Becoming Home. What is up, homies? It's so good to see you and happy new year. 2023 is going to be amazing. I can just feel it in my bones. I wanted to let you know of a couple of fun things that are in the works right now that you should hop on as fast as you can. The first is I'm running a Better Than Book Club experience. This is going to be so much fun. I'm so greatly looking forward to it. What happens is every first Friday of the month, we will be getting together for 1 hour. We will go through the pertinent chapter of my book, which is called Intentional House by Month, a seasonal guide to family connection at home. So we're going to be going through in January, the January section. It's about 10 pages. It's 10 ideas to think about January differently, to think about your house in January, to think about your family connections in January. So we'll be talking all about that. I'll add on some fun things that are specifically applicable for this year. And then I'm going to live coach you. So that means you get to raise your hand in our webinar and be like, Carly, yo, I have a problem with my stepmother. When it comes to New Year's Day resolution, she always does this crazy thing. I don't know how to handle it. And I will coach you through it. You'll be able to learn from each other. You'll be able to get all the good stuff from the book and all these things that I'm going to be teaching you. And then you'll be able to apply it. By the end of every call each month, you're going to have one thing they're going to be focusing on for the entire month of January. Not 20 things, not one thing a week, not one thing a day. One thing per month, because I know you're busy. I know you got stuff to do. I want you to have one thing to focus on that will make your family life exponentially better each month. So you pay $66. You meet with me 12 times and 200 of your closest friends live the first Friday of every month. We'll be going through the book. We'll be live coaching. Sign up. I'm going to put the link in the show notes. You can find it on my website. It's going to be so much fun. January 6th will be our first meeting at noon Mountain Time. If you live in Nicaragua, you're going to have to do your own time conversions, but I hope you can make it. It's going to be so much fun. We talk about traditions. We talk about routines. We talk about kids. We talk about couches. We talk about floors, all the things. It's all kind of rolled into one juicy goodness nugget. This is better than any other book club you've ever been a part of. Join immediately. With that being said, I'm really excited to announce another change. An upgrade, if you will. It is that we're going to be doing seasons with the Becoming Home podcast. I find myself so intrigued and so inspired to share really cool things with you. And I don't want to just do it in a one-off manner. I don't want to do just one episode about building a house, for instance. I want to create 12 solid episodes for you that are all about building a house, and 12 solid episodes for you that are all about starting and curating and heart sculpting your homestead. So this season, this is episode number 1 of the first season officially of Becoming Home, and it is called Sanctifying the Home Building Process. My goal for this season is to shine light on building your own home. Now, this could be like stick building your own home. We're going to be going through like lot selection and contractors and all these things that apply to building your house. But also if you're moving, this will really apply to you too, because thinking about your house as a creative process that takes, 8 to 25 months, depending on where in COVID you started. When you think about picking things new for your home, or even when you're like renovating your house, there's a specific energy, a specific creative mindset we want to get into to make this optimal. And not just optimal beautiful, not just optimally functional, not just optimally impressive on Instagram, but optimally relationship conducing. And that is what we're going for. How do we build our house so that we don't get a divorce? How do we build our house so that you become a better person, a better leader, more able to talk to people directly, to lead a team of artisans and experts? How to be the point person for all of your home decisions and to not outsource the ownership of your house to someone else. Even if you are contracting somebody to do the physical labor for you, you are always the point person in your house and of your house build. And I want you to know how to do this in a way that leaves you feeling energized, that your relationship with yourself is stronger, your relationship with God is stronger, your relationship with your spouse is stronger, your kids, that you aren't neglecting some imperative relationships in order to build a structure. It's not worth it. We want the building of your home to be infusing your life with joy and wonder. That's what I want for you. So coming up this season, we have some really, really, really fun guests that I cannot wait to introduce you to. We have Kim Chatterton, who is my real estate agent. She has helped me pick many, many, many homes. She has sold homes for me. We have looked at infinity many homes, even more than that I bought. I feel like she is one of the people who knows me best. I want you to see that this is possible in a real estate agent. We're going to be talking with Sarah Yamtich, who talks about home as a ceremony. She's so good at creating sacredness around what might be mundane. And if there's anything that might feel mundane, it is going through carpet swatches. So if you are feeling intimidated or run down by the home building process, Sarah will help you make a ceremony out of it. We talked to Joseph Hoffman about the power of music in your home and why music is such an important part of the creative experience, and how when you think about music from the beginning versus just like a nice afterthought where the piano goes, how enriched your life can be. Talk about art that is powerful and deeply meaningful. I have an artist, a fine artist on the podcast. His name's Tyler Swain, and he talks about the beauty in the everyday and how art can be, I want to almost say like an altar, but like a symbolic, I don't know, gift to yourself, to your family, about the things that matter most to you. You guys, the list goes on and on. We'll be talking about listening to your body in the creative process and how to not overextend. This is something that my husband, Chase Thornock, with What Magnificence, is so good at. And we're going to be talking to Sean Tibor about sweeping the floors of the temple. This interview blew my mind. This is about using your body and your awareness and processing emotions physically through your body, but also how we do that in our houses, and how in my mind, it feels like a Roman stacking doll, Russian stacking doll, where you have the innermost little doll that I would call your spirit, and then a doll on the outside, which would be your body, and a doll on the outside, which would be your house, and how when you clean the one, you clean the others. So beautiful. So if you are thinking of building your house, if you are anticipating a move, this season is my gift to you. I'm so excited about it. I hope that you will listen in and really take it into heart and into play as you make decisions. If you need help beyond what the season of podcasts will give you, which is going to be astronomical. Again, I'm so excited for you. If you need help beyond this, this is what I've created the Knowing for. This is my membership group that helps you optimize your space for relationships. You could be moving, you could be building, you could be just upgrading, you could be doing your best to live with what you've got. All of this is for you inside of the Knowing. This is my weekly, we coach twice weekly coaching program, all of the curriculum inside. The podcast is the tip of the iceberg, and may I say, it is a magnificent tip of the iceberg. I haven't even told you half of the gold that is inside. You have so much to look forward to. But if this is something that you're working on in your home and in your family, and 2023 is bringing house changes for you, get inside the Knowing, girl. What are you waiting for? And without further ado, I'd like to introduce you Sanctifying the home building process. So to kick it all off, I want to take a minute, me personally. I'm going to look you in the eye and I want to say, It is possible to optimize your space for relational connection. This is possible. It is on the table. It is a choice that you can make. Here is how you do it. There are 3 steps to optimizing your space for relational connection. This means to make your relationship sing and to create spaces where that happens automatically, where people psychologically can't resist the pull to connect because of the way you have thought about and created and organized and furnished your home. Here is how we do this. The first step is defining the relationship. A little DTR. You thought you were over that part of your life, but no, it's back. We want to define the relationship. That means that you take the 6-fold relationships that are most important. I would say that these are God, yourself, your spouse, your children, your guests, and the earth. You take these 6 relationships and you decide what you want them to look like. Now, we have to be clear about what a relationship is. A relationship is not some magical third-party entity that's created when 2 people are on the same wavelength and blah, blah, blah. A relationship is the way you think and feel about someone or something else. This is completely in your control. So you want to define the relationship. How do you want to show up to God? How do you want to show up to yourself? How do you want to show up as a spouse to your husband or wife? How do you want to show up as a parent, as a mother? How do you want to show up as a friend? How do you want to show up as a steward of the earth? These are the questions. You must define them. I want you to write it down. Like, what is the relationship that you want to have? You must know these things before moving forward, because if you're going to design your house centered around these relationships, again, your thoughts and your feelings about another person, about a situation, about a thing, you have to know what that is. If you're going to be inspired, you need to know what the inspiration is, right? Right. Okay. So this is the part that we don't often focus on enough. We're just like ambiguous, like, well, of course I want to be a good mom, so moving on. No, I want you to go in depth and figure out, like, how do I want to feel toward my children? How do I want to behave? What are some examples of this person that I want to be? How does she dress? How does she look? What are the expressions on her face? What does she chat with her children about? What kind of activities do we do together? This is defining the relationship. It's not about, like, I have kids who are obedient and play football and are the best dancer and all the things. Like, this is not defined by anything outside of you. This is defined by you. I want to speak at a certain decibel level. I want to invite wonder. I want to respond with curiosity. I want to feel awe and gratitude and excitement. Like, these are the things that I'm talking about. This is how we define a relationship. Okay. So then second, we're going to be talking about routines and traditions that you can do and roll into this relationship. So this is like, if we're talking about your relationship as a parent, like, what are the things, the habits, the rituals that you want to incorporate into your life that will reinforce this relational determination you've just done? Okay. So this is like mealtime. Do you value mealtime? What does mealtime look like? What are the habits associated with it? How about connection? How are you going to go on little dates with your kids? Is it once a week? Is it once a day? Is it once a month? How does this look? Imagine this to the nth degree that you can. Imagine exactly how this is going to play out in real life. So we have like the relationship determination. It still kind of feels a little bit ethereal. And as you define it, it gets more concrete. And then when we set it into motion with traditions and habits, it becomes even more solid. This is the meat. This is like the stuff that we can dig our hands into, the clay of building a home that really supports our relationships. Because once we've defined what Christmas is going to look like, once we've defined how we want to celebrate birthdays, once we've defined what it's going to look like on a regular Tuesday when we're eating lunch, then we can make really great decisions for our house. So that's the third step. What props do you need in order to enact these habits, rituals, routines, and traditions? What are the things that you need in your hands and to surround yourself with? What's the art on the wall that's going to help you and make this story come alive as you're enacting these things day in, day out? What are the things that are going to remind you to do the new tradition? And what are the physical entities that you can hold in your hands that will help you remember this relationship in your mind and your heart that you are striving to embody. This is how we design our house. If you want to be eating lunch in the kitchen, if you want finger foods on a big charcuterie board in the middle of the table, you're going to get a different table than if you wanted to have pasta for lunch at the bar. There's just so many different ways you can live your life, and all are good. But if you don't know exactly what you're going for, you won't know what design decisions to make. So as we're sanctifying this home building process, as we're optimizing the spaces for a relational connection, these are the questions that we have to be asking. Why are we building a house in the first place? All of us would say, so we can love our family, so we can be more comfortable, so we can create the homey vibe, so we can live out our dreams with the people that we love the most. How are you going to do it? It's not enough to just create a Pinterest board. It's not enough to just do what's always been done. You need to look closely at what you think life is and see what's working and see what's not, and then visit those 6 relationships in a really intentional way and design them from the ground up, from the inside out. This is the way that we sanctify the home building process. And then as we put these wheels into motion, my colleagues will take it from here. They will tell you like, okay, so you're founded in relationships. Now let's see what that looks like as you look for a house or as you look for a lot. Let's see what that looks like as you choose what artwork to put on your walls. Like we're going to take this into the micro style observation here. But the 3 steps remain the same. Define your relationships. Get those routines and traditions in your mind and like under your belt. Understand how you want this to look. It's going to feel tedious. It's going to take like some time and some meditation and some writing and some talking with your spouse. And then determine what props you need to make that come alive. I promise you that if you do this, your home creation is going to be so much more smooth. It's an investment on the front end that's going to pay off in dividends beyond your wildest imagination. My clients who do this always feel so confident with what comes out on the other end because they have tasted it, they have touched it, they have felt it, they have lived with it, they have made choices with it, they have been intentional about it, and therefore they love it. I want this for you. All right, go sanctify that home building process, optimize for relational connection, and make a huge mess. Hey, thanks for listening today. If you love what you're hearing, share this episode with a friend who you want to chat with about it. Also, leave a review for the show so we can reach more soulful mamas looking to love the magical humanity that surrounds them at home. If you really are digging this scene, come check out The Knowing, the inner circle for confident home creating. Find all the info about it as well as a full transcript of this episode over at carlythornock.com.